Okay, next item up for installation is the throttle pushrod. I've got my throttle bag that had all of my throttle stuff in it. This will be the last thing I need out of this bag, so that bag is now empty. And this bag contains a clevis. I'm using the Sullivan Golden clevis and the fuel tubing to put on the clevis. And this time I'm going to put the blue tubing on the clevis before I put the clevis on the rod. Now that should have had a nut in it. I don't see the nut. Let me go get a nut. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I put a 2-56 nut on the push rod. That nut isn't absolutely essential, but I like to use it because if I ever take something off and want to adjust it, I know that from where I started, how many turns, and then I can readjust it. So I like the nut there. Some people don't bother to put it on. I like it. So I'm just going to screw this on down to the nut, and I'll put some Loctite on that nut later, and you can see that the threaded rod is just sticking out there. And so we're going to put that through the white tubing that goes over to the throttle servo. It just hit the floor. It slid out and hit the floor. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back in the push rod with the clevis and the nut, and the fuel tubing is all set to be put in. And I'm going to adjust the nut, but I'm not going to lock it down. Have maybe 3/16 sticking out into the clevis, and I'm going to put this into the guide tubing for the throttle push rod. As you put it in and it comes out the back, you can see that there's the throttle servo, one on the bottom there, and actually I guess it's the one on the top. Alright, so as you push that in, you've got to put it into the quick connect there, and have your 3/32 Allen wrench handy so you can open up that quick connect and allow the push rod to go through. There we go. Now the quick connect is not tight, so I can push this in and put the clevis on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera and be right back. Okay, I decided to do this on camera because it is a little tricky. I'm using a regular flat blade screwdriver, opening the clevis up, and then putting it on the outermost hole of the throttle arm. There we go, and that's the tricky part. Okay. Alright, sometimes it's easier to have the throttle all the way open. Alright, that looks like it's on good. It's inside the clevis there, so actually what I'm going to do is use this flat blade screwdriver and push the fuel tubing up onto the clevis. There we go. Now I put it up not even quite halfway, so that as the as you move the throttle, I can move it with the push rod here. So you can see as I move the throttle, you don't want the push rod to bind against anything, and so you check to make sure that everything is good and straight. Nothing's touching anything. But when the throttle is full open, it doesn't touch the fuel tubing, and as it pulls full close, it doesn't touch the engine mount or the engine or anything like that. So that's a good mount of the clevis in the front. Okay, I'm going to get the radio, and we'll set up the throttle with the radio and the servo.